Sometimes in life, it is really nice to just splurge on something, to spend a little bit extra in order to get something that just feels a little nicer. And sometimes spending more money really does get you a much more high quality product. But we know in the makeup space that isn't always true. And I know, at least for me, I am not trying to spend a lot of extra right now. I'm trying to figure out where I want my money to go. So what I thought I'd do for today's video is to kind of go through some of my drugstore priced products and give you some suggestions on some makeup products in every single category that will save you some money. Products that are just as good as some of these more expensive items that I own. So if you are interested in saving a little bit of money and getting some really high quality makeup products, hang tight. We are getting into it right now. I did my makeup with the products that I'm about to show you, so when we get there, I will let you know what is on my face today. So let's go ahead and start off with face primer. Now, of course, this is not going to be comprehensive. These are just some of the products that I've been loving lately. So my favorite primer that is at a drugstore price point that I've really been enjoying lately is The Ordinary's High-Adherence Silicone Primer. Now, The Ordinary went through a phase. They went through a let's try to be a makeup brand phase, and it all died, I think, except for this product. They did like foundations and stuff. They decided to stop doing all that, but this product does still exist. This is actually my second tube of this. Really, really enjoy it, but I think it's really important to understand about this product that even though it says silicone primer, this is not a traditional silicone primer. It actually comes out more like a hydrating lotion than it does a silicone primer. This is the texture of the primer, and as you can see, it just kind of goes in like a moisturizer, but it doesn't feel exactly like a moisturizer. You can definitely feel a little bit of silicone slip. It's almost like a hydrating moisturizer slash silicone primer hybrid. When I'm talking about a silicone primer, this is more what I'm talking about. This is the Mineral Infused Face Primer by e.l.f. I'll just show you on my other hand kind of what I traditionally think of as a silicone primer, something like that. And then when you rub it in, you can really feel that slip. It's very pore filling, all of that, but this one is not nearly as pore filling. But one reason why I love a primer with silicone in it is it does tend to make my makeup last longer. So if you are looking for a more silicone based pore filling primer that's going to be a nice base for your makeup, make your makeup last longer, I would say the e.l.f. one is a pretty good one. This is again the Mineral Infused Face Primer, but if you're looking for something more to make your makeup last longer and give you a little bit of hydration, I would go for The Ordinary. For foundation, I get that this is not drugstore, but the Sephora brand is drugstore price, and this is a lower cost foundation, so I definitely want to mention it because it is so fab. This is the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. I am digging out the last drops of this. I don't need to purchase a foundation right now, so I've been kind of avoiding repurchasing this, but this will probably be something that I will repurchase because I know that it is something that I will miss in my collection when I fully run out of it. This one is in the shade 17.5N. It is a little bit light for me, so I do deepen it up with a little bit of this Hindash Carve shade. But as far as this foundation in general, it's just a really nice creamy foundation. It is what I'm wearing on my face today. It can be built up to almost a full coverage, not quite. I will show you on this hand kind of how it blends. You can see it's a very thick viscosity there. And then blending it in, let me see if I can do this without... Ooh. It's so pretty. You see the coverage that it gives you. It's just a really beautiful, let me look a little bit, really beautiful medium coverage. And you, like I said, you can build this up to a more full coverage foundation. If you like something a little bit lighter, what I've been really enjoying lately is the ColourPop Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. And this, like it says, is a tinted moisturizer, but it does give a nice light coverage. It still has a pretty thick viscosity, but you can see it is dripping a little bit because it is a tinted moisturizer. and it feels like a moisturizer. You can feel that hydrating aspect of it, and it feels really, really good on the skin. And yeah, light coverage. Very, very light coverage. This one is a little bit yellow for me. This is in the shade Light 8N, but because it is such a light coverage, my natural skin tone does shine through it a bit. So I don't really mind that it is slightly too yellow on me. For both of these complexion products, lasting power is fantastic. Of course, with a lighter coverage product, it is going to fade. At least for me, those tend to fade a little bit faster than a more full coverage product, but I can definitely tell both of them are on my face at the end of the day. I have a nice collection of concealers for you because I wanted to show you a bunch of different things. So the thing I've been loving lately, I've been talking about it a lot. I told you I was going to stop talking about it, but I can't stop. This is the Catrice Under Eye Brightener Instant Awake. This helps to cancel out discoloration. It also has a really nice hydrating formula. I absolutely love this stuff. I use it as a color corrector and concealer in one. If you're not looking for that pink tone and you want some hydration, this one is really nice. This is the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. Very, very nice there. If you want something a little more full coverage but not dry, I have two for you. This is from Juvia's Place. This is in the shade 19, and this is their concealer. I really love this one a lot. And then also the Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Finish Soft Matte Concealer in C4 is my shade there. Now that I have showed you all of them, let me swatch them for you so you can see the differences between them so you can decide which one's right for you. So let's start with the Catrice, the Under Eye Brightener, and I'm just going to put them here as big swatches. So then we'll do the NYX next. The NYX has a little bit of a pump here. It's kind of annoying. I personally prefer a doe foot, but this is going to keep bacteria out of your product a little bit better than a doe foot. The doe foot on the Juvia's Place is big, fat, juicy doe foot. I'm going to put this one right here and kind of spread that out so you can see. The NYX one is a little less full coverage. I would say it's more of a medium coverage, where the Juvia's Place and the Makeup Revolution are more full coverage. I love the doe foot on the Makeup Revolution one. These paddle ones are really, really freaking cool. I don't think I said the shade on the NYX. The NYX shade is called Vanilla. Yeah, that's about right. Vanilla. So those are the four swatches, and they actually match pretty nicely as far as they're almost the exact same shade. None of these are drying, but I would say the most hydrating ones are the Catrice and the NYX ones. For powder, I figured I would give you a pressed powder as well as a loose powder. So for pressed powder, I really love this Essence. This is the 16-Hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation. I don't feel like this is enough coverage for a powder foundation. It is a pressed powder for me. I don't mind it, but I would never use this just as a foundation on its own. I can kind of show you. It does look in the swatches like it's got some coverage, but once it blends in, you really can't see it. It just, it blends in like a powder. It's not really a foundation in my opinion, but it does last a really long time, really mattifies beautifully without making my face matte and flat. I really love it a lot. For the loose powder, I picked the ColourPop. This is the No Filter Loose Setting Powder. This is in the translucent shade. This one has no coverage at all. This is me trying to get a little bit on my hand, but you can see it's just more of a, it's more of a loose silicone-y kind of feel to the powder, where this one is more like a traditional powder. Neither of them make my face look powdery, and I do feel like it helps my makeup last longer, and I feel like it mattifies my face for a long time. Now, I don't have particularly oily skin, so that might make a difference for you, whether these products work well for you, but for me, they work fantastic. For the concealers, I forgot to tell you, the Revolution concealer is the one that I'm wearing on my face today, and then I also use the ColourPop powder. Let's go ahead and move on to eye primers. Seriously, I do not feel like you need an expensive eye primer. If you've never used an eye primer before and you notice that your eyeshadows are fading throughout the day, this may be something you want to invest in, but you don't have to invest a lot of money. That's the best part. The drugstore ones that I really like, this I've loved for years. If you've been around my channel, you've heard me talk about this a million times. This is the Ulta Matte Eye Primer, only in the nude one. The shimmery one, don't like that so much. Crease is really bad. Bleh, I don't like it, but I do like the matte one. What I love about this one is it does mute out discoloration on my eyelids. I do wish they made this in more of a medium tone for people with deeper skin tones. Maybe that's, suggestion box for Ulta. But if you are a light to medium skin tone, this does mute out discoloration really beautifully. If you have a deeper skin tone, you can still use this, absolutely. It's just there's going to be more contrast, obviously. But the advantage to that is it should make your bright colors pop just a little bit more. If you don't want the pigment in your eyeshadow primer, these two I feel like work exactly the same. The Milani eyeshadow primer is really, really wonderful, but this one is a little less expensive. This is the Essence Prime Like a Boss eyeshadow base. I feel like these are almost exactly the same as far as their performance. If you have glitter shadows that you need to adhere or foiled shadows and you're noticing fallout throughout the day, a great option is the NYX Glitter Glue. This is an old staple. A lot of us have been using this for a really long time. It's a fantastic glitter glue. For brows, I have an issue because every single brow pencil that I get, I tend to either I buy it in the wrong shade or I don't like the formula. It's too hard, it's too creamy. I have issues with it. That doesn't mean great brow pencils at the drugstore do not exist. It's just that I haven't tried any lately, and I hate to recommend something that I used a very long time ago and then the formula changed. So what I am going to recommend to you for brows is a product that I've tried recently, and I actually used this incorrectly in the video. This is the Neutrogena Micro Brow Tint Serum pen, and I am very anti-brow pens. What I find a lot of times with brow pens is they go on so opaque and they're very difficult to make look natural in my personal brows. I'm just trying to fill spaces, but this one is super, super fab. So it is a pen, it's a marker tip. So when I used this originally, I thought it was an eyeliner. It went on beautifully as an eyeliner, very long lasting power. My issue with this as a brow pen for me is I bought medium brown because I wasn't paying attention, because I was filming through my phone and I was not paying attention. But I'm wearing it in my brows today, and can you tell it's the wrong shade? Maybe a little bit, but not enough for me that it really does matter that much. I actually really like my brows being slightly lighter than my hair color. I like the way that it looks. The best thing about this is that you can draw those little micro hairs, but then you take a spoolie and spoolie it through, and it really does make it look very natural. And I love, love, love this product. I think one of the biggest pluses of this is the lasting power on it. When I used it as an eyeliner, it did not move all day long. Same thing happens with the brows, because something with brow pens that there's an issue is once you put a brow gel in, sometimes it can make a huge mess. Does not happen with this. Speaking of brow gels, let's talk about a brow gel. This is super fab. It's what I'm wearing today. This is the Essence Fix It Like a Boss Transparent Brow Gel. Essence, when they came out with this Like a Boss line like this, they crushed it. It's so, so good. So this is what I'm wearing on my brows today. It isn't the strongest hold brow gel that I've ever used. The ABH one is really, really good for that. The one from Too Faced that came out not that long ago holds a little bit harder. It's a little bit more of that laminated effect where it's really holds your brows like at an angle. This one, it holds them, just not like that well. Like you can see, let's see if you can zoom in. Let me go a little closer. Can you see like how it's holding my brows? It didn't like this brow was a little smooshy looking. It didn't really hold them in that upward angle like I was hoping it would. But if you don't need your brows to stay vertical, it does hold them very nicely without it feeling like there's a big crunch to it. One thing that I don't like about this though is when you pull it out, it really does look like spit, which is kind of gross visually. Like it's not a pleasant visual, but I get past it. The little things set me off. I don't know what it is, but here is the wand on it. It's just like a basic mascara-y looking wand. But like I said, overall, I would say this is more of a medium hold brow gel, which is great for most people. For eyeshadow palettes, I'm just going to talk about two different brands that I feel like for me are standout. One of them is not going to be a shocker for you, and it's ColourPop. Now, I have heard specifically that ColourPop eyeshadows are not as good on deeper skin tones. My friend Audra just does not not do the ColourPop eyeshadows, loves the bright colors, does not like the ColourPop at all. So I trust their opinion, and I trust the other people that have come to my comment section and told me the exact same thing. But for me, they are wonderful. So I did want to share with you just a couple of them that I recommend personally. So there's another brand too. So if you don't want the ColourPop, I have another brand for you. The Bare Necessities palette, I got this when I was in Charleston. They gave this to all of us, and this has been a wonderful, just like basic nude palette with lots of different colors. You can create a million different looks with this. It's just a great formula. They're very easy to go on. They're very easy to blend. They're not so pigmented that they're hard to blend. My only issue with ColourPop shadows, and I did have that issue with this palette today, that's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. This is the Welcome Foolish Mortals palette from the Haunted Mansion collection, which was ColourPop's Halloween collection. I did have to go back and forth with the foils just a little bit to make sure that they popped. And as you can see, they're not even that super poppin'. They're not super adherent to the eye. Sometimes I do have to go back and forth, but I feel like the mattes are a strength here because I don't usually have to go back and forth with the mattes. They usually go where I want them to. They're easy to blend, and then they stay there. If you are not interested in the ColourPop, if you were looking for a lower cost, high quality alternative, I highly recommend Alter Ego. Now, Alter Ego, I am not going to say that they are copies of expensive palettes. However, they happen to look exactly like expensive palettes. This is probably the least versatile one of all of the Alter Ego palettes that I own. It is beautiful, but the tones of this, when you get them on the eyes, very light to medium tones. So there's only so much depth you can get with this, but it is so freaking gorgeous. As an alternative, my favorite palette that I've been using from Alter Ego recently is this one. This is the Midsummer palette. This one, oh my gosh, so much versatility with this one. So many different looks. Also a really nice mix of deep, medium, and light shades. And I love this color story. I really do. It is so enjoyable to use. Their newest palette is the Mirage palette. If you were looking for something a little more warm-toned fall, this is definitely a highly recommend. I haven't used it a ton. I've used it 2 or 3 times, but one thing I really enjoy about it is that it has these 2 cream shades down here. I've been using them as eyeliner. I don't know if they're specifically supposed to be eyeliners, but that's the only thing I'm ever going to use them for. They're very creamy, but they're very dark and opaque, and I just don't put dark and opaque on my personal lids. Looks gorgeous on other people, just don't enjoy it for me. Let me just go ahead and swatch a couple of these shades for you. Let's do Heat, let's do Odyssey, let's do Tomb, and let's do Endless, so you can see what we're dealing with here. Boop, 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 and boop. I'll also swatch some of the Midsummer shades for you. Let's do 2 Shimmer, let's do Dew, and let's do Festival. And for the matte, we'll do Meadow and Lavender. Here is on the fingers. Bloop, bloop. All right, and these are one swipe swatches like I just showed you, just so opaque to go on. The big difference between these and the ColourPop ones is I do feel like this needs a little bit more elbow grease when it comes to the matte formulas, especially the deeper shades. They need just a little bit more love to kind of get them to blend together, but it's really not bad. It's not inconvenient. It just takes a little bit more time. I should probably, now thinking about it, show you some of the ColourPop ones as well, just for comparison's sake. So I'll do the same thing. We'll do a few from the Bare Necessities palette. We'll do Designer Duds. We'll do Prefix. We'll do Taboo, and then Act a Fool. Here's on the fingers. And then we'll do from Foolish Mortals, let's do Psychic Medium. You really have to dip very gently in these because they can get a little crumbly. Let's do Ballroom Ghost. Is that what that says? Oh my goodness. And then we'll do New Orleans and Corridor of Doors. There you go. Oh my gosh, that one swatches beautifully. Okay, so there's the ColourPop for comparison. Man, that pink shade. I'm so in love with that. That is gorgeous. I really feel like with these, it really does come down to personal preference and what you like. And these really are great alternatives to some of the more expensive eyeshadow palettes that are out there. Y'all, as far as eyeliner goes, I was looking at my eyeliners that I have, and all of them are high-end eyeliners, the pen eyeliners, because that's my favorite. And then I found this in my drawer. This is from last Christmas. I had not opened it until today. I was like, yay, this is perfect. This is the Wet n Wild eyeliner. This one was called the Good Grief Proof Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner, but from what y'all have told me, this is the same formula as their traditional liquid eyeliner. So this is what I'm wearing today, and it works beautifully. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the tip. It is so blackety black, and it goes on perfectly. I have zero complaints. It stays on all day. I can rub the corners of my eyes. It does not move. No smudging. None of that. It is super freaking fab. Mascara. I have talked about so many drugstore mascaras on this channel, and y'all know I have my favorites. I have the Maybelline Lash Paradise. I have the Essence Lash Princess mascaras. I have so many mascaras. There's so many good ones. L'Oreal Telescopic, not the new one, but the original one. But there's one mascara that I have open right now that I've really been enjoying that I haven't talked about a lot, and it is the Milani Highly Rated Lash Extensions mascara. Now, I do not think this will give you lash extensions, but what it does do is it gives nice length and volume, and it is a tubing mascara, which I personally really love because they're very easy to remove. Now, one thing I did not expect with this, because it is a very wet formula, I didn't expect it to give as much volume as it does, but it really does. This is the wand here, and usually mascaras like this will give you a lot of length and, you know, moderate volume. Oh my gosh, it gives both, and I really, really enjoy it. So if you like a wet formula mascara, this is going to be your jam. Now, I do not have problems with smudging with my mascara. I do have problems with flaking occasionally. This one has never flaked on me. It's just a beautiful, beautiful formula. For blushes, I think blush really does, it's going to be personal preference when it comes down to it. Really, I think all we all want is something that has really good lasting power, but depending on how you like a blush to apply, you may like one formula over another. My personal favorite right now is the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blushes. These are wonderful. This is the one I'm wearing today. This is in the shade Rosy Rosewood. Really beautiful, but this is as much as it builds. It doesn't really build more than that with a brush. You can like really slap it on with your fingertips and really, you know, kind of blend it out that way, but with a brush, this is as far as it goes. If you're even lighter than me, this might be a good option. This is in the shade Pretty Peach, but if you need something that's really pigmented, you're probably not gonna like these. What I would recommend if you like a really pigmented blush is the Milani blushes. Those are absolutely wonderful. They just take a little bit more effort to blend, which is why I don't personally like them as much, but they're really, really nice blushes. They've been loved for a long, long time, and I do like them. I just don't like them as much as these just because they take a little bit more work to get them to blend out. They go on so pigmented, and that's just not my personal preference, but I wanted to recommend that in case that is your personal preference. For bronzers, okay. So I haven't tried a lot of bronzers recently. I'm going to be very honest with you, especially drugstore price bronzers that I've really enjoyed. So I've been relying on a staple one that has been in my collection for a long time, and this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I know it's boring. I get it. It's boring. I understand, but I really do like it a lot. It goes on very nicely. It builds very nicely. The only thing I don't like about this is I don't like the smell of it, honestly. Like, I don't like the beach suntan lotion smell. It's not my favorite. I know some people really love it. I don't like it. It reminds me, like, it makes me think of sand in my butt crack. I know that that's not, but it really does. Like, as a child, like, that's what, like, uncomfortable. Like, I don't like the smell of suntan lotion, especially like this coconutty, you know, almost like Malibu rum kind of scent. I don't like it. That's just, it's not my thing, but the formula itself, I really, really, really enjoy a lot. So this has been the drugstore one that I've been using lately. I'll be honest with you, I've been using mostly high-end bronzers, but this is the closest one to my high-end bronzer, like my Makeup by Mario one that I really love. This is the closest one to it. For highlighters, I have two for you, and they go with, again, a personal preference thing where I personally like a very glowy highlighter without it being like the From Space Poppin' 2016 highlighters. And I know some people really, really love those and they look gorgeous on the right person. It's just not my personal preference, and I haven't really been trying a lot of those lately, so I don't have any recommendations of those. But for ones that I do like, before they came out with the Essence Pure Nude blushes, they had the Essence Pure Nude highlighters, and honestly, I think this might have been the only shade. It may still be the only shade. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. This is in the shade Be My Highlight, and it's just a very nice, subtle glow. And I've heard this works for lots of skin tones, even though it's pretty light, just because it is so sheer. I know, wait. Let me swatch that somewhere else because I have a bunch of eyeshadow on that arm. Let me swatch it on the back of my hand instead so you can see kind of what we're dealing with here. It's just very, very subtle in the highlight of it. If you want something that's a little more poppin' but still very beautiful and glowy, this is the All Over Glow Tint by Catrice. This is gorgeous. You can leave this one a little more opaque to make it a little more From Space. I'll put it on the other side of the the eyeliner swatch and kind of blend that in. So you can see you can get a significant shine off of it if you leave it alone, and it does dry down. But if you like it, like I have it on my face right now, it's just a little subtle shine. That's down here where I'm personally enjoying being at with this product. Lasting power is fantastic. I do think the lasting power on the liquid from Catrice is a little bit better than the one from Essence. For lashes, I will forever be an Ardell 120 kind of girl. Always and forever. I am very loyal to my Ardell 120s. That's what I'm wearing on my eyes today, but these are my last pair, and I've been wearing these. This is probably the 5th or 6th time that I've worn this strip. And it still looks great. It's beautiful. I just got to make sure I pick the lash glue off gently so I don't pull any of the hairs out so that I can continue to wear them. But they're just wonderful. I love the angle on them. I like the way they make my eyes look bigger. As an alternative, if you don't like that tapered look, the Ardell 110s are also very, very nice if you like a more natural lash. I do not like big, huge lashes. That's just a personal preference. I feel like I'm blinking like all the time. Like my eyelids just feel heavy and I'm constantly going like this. And it's not enjoyable. So those are my favorite shapes, are those two specifically from Ardell. As far as lash glue, I have 2 lash glues that I've been using and I use them interchangeably. This is just the duo, man. I'm a duo person. I really like it. This is the brush on adhesive with vitamins. I don't know anything about the vitamins. All I know is it keeps my lashes on. Actually, you know what? I do think the Kiss works just a little bit better. This is the Strip Lash Adhesive with Aloe from Kiss. I do feel like this does stick my lashes just a little bit better, but I also feel like this one is slightly harder to remove the lashes. My lashes just feel like they're a little more stuck to my skin. Like, if I really think about it, there is a difference, but I do use them interchangeably. It's just whichever one I grab first. And then finally, for lips. Let us talk what's on my lips today. So this is the ColourPop Blotted Lip, and this is in the shade Espresso Martini. Yes, and I really like this formula. It's not overly dry. It does have a little bit of a dryness to it, but I like how natural it looks on the lips. It's not super opaque and thick. It's that blotted lip look, and it's a beautiful formula. I really enjoy it. Very easy to go on, very easy to, if I accidentally go a little too large, I can, wipe it off very easily. It's not like super stainy or anything. It's just a really, really nice formula. If you want an alternative to that, another formula I really like for liquid lipsticks is the Superstay Vinyl Ink by Maybelline. This one is fabulous, and I really want to get more of these. Just kind of show you where we're going with that. Again, it's not super opaque, and that's something that I really like, is a lipstick that doesn't look like paint. It really blends into the skin nicely. I'll swatch that next to the blotted lip. I know that they're different colors, but you'll get the idea for how sheer they are on the lips. And the vinyl lip will give you a little bit more of a shine, but that one does dry down as well. So between the two, it's really of whether you like a shine or you like it to be a bit more matte. Now, another thing from ColourPop I really enjoy is the Luxe Lip Oils. Just very, very comfortable on the lips, and they're not super oily. I love that. I do want to mention there is a ColourPop lip formula that I don't like. This is the Luxe Velvet Lipstick. I do not like these. They accentuate all of my texture. My lips are always perpetually some level of dryness, and this makes my lips look so dry. Like, my lips look like a straight up boom hole, like a booty hole. It's like all puckery and crappy. Look, it's horrible. I hate this stuff. It's awful. It's like one of the few things from ColourPop that I absolutely despise is this formula. It's awful. I do like their bullet lipsticks though. They're very creamy, very, very nice. But if you don't want ColourPop, you want something else, these Milani lipsticks, I've been swearing by these for years. They are wonderful. They are so creamy. I don't see any difference between this formula from Milani than other lipstick formulas that are more high end. They're just creamy and wonderful, and they feel good on the lips. Lasting power is great. It's just a wonderful formula. And we have made it. We finally made it to a full face, which means at this point, my friend, it is your turn in the collective brain of makeup awesomeness where we help each other not to buy crap and to buy things that are totally worth it. I would love to know your thoughts about any of the products that I talked about today, because this is the thing, is I got one face and I got one opinion, and my opinion and my face is not the end all be all of everything. And that's why you're so important to this community. If you've tried any of these products, please leave your thoughts down below so that we can all learn from you, and leave some specifics as far as why you think these work for you, what's different about you and they still work for you, or what's the same about you or what's different that they don't work for you. As much as you can give us is wonderful so that we can learn from you, so we don't buy crap, because that's what we're trying to do here in this community. So I can't wait to read your thoughts about the products that I talked about today. And with that being said, my friend, if you would like to hang out just a little bit longer, YouTube should be recommending a couple videos for you right over here to watch, including one that I picked up for you special right down at the bottom. YouTube picked the top one for you based on your viewing history. But if you gotta go because you got stuff to do, it is no problem at all. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you. And I will see you in a video very, very soon.